Hi everyone, it's John here. I'm the sole producer, writer, editor, director, and lover of this YouTube channel. I've been making videos for about 3 years now, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that we've hit about 3,000 subscribers. Hurrah, who'd have ever thunk? To mark this occasion, I thought I would do a cheeky little channel update and Q&A taken from YouTube, friends and family from Instagram, and a creator Discord that I'm a part of. I don't think there's much more preamble for me to do here, so let's just get straight to it. I want to first make some reflections about this channel that I've had for the past 3 years. I originally created this little space as honestly just an outlet for me to scream into the void about storytelling and other media topics that I found interesting and no one else in real life would find interesting. So yeah, that's kind of why this channel came to be. And to this day, I still ask myself 2 key questions whenever I come up with a video idea. A, is this something that would bore my real friends and family to tears? If so, I'm on the right track. And secondly, am I offering anything unique to the storytelling community in this video? You know, I don't want to make a Why Lord of the Rings is great video because there are 1,000 videos like that already. It would only be if I felt as though I had a unique take on what made Lord of the Rings great, I would make that kind of video. But other than that, yeah, I just want to always be thinking about what a unique argument I can make. I know it's cliche to say, but never in 1,000 years did I think that 30 people would watch my videos, let alone 3,000. So on the whole, I'm pretty bloody chuffed with how things have turned out. And again, thank you so much for supporting me over these 3 years. Yes, I've made a few mistakes in videos and a few things I wish I could go back and change, but on the whole, I'm pretty pleased with all of the arguments that I've presented, and I feel as though I have a format now that I enjoy doing, which is the most important thing, right? But of course, you know me, you know how much I find feedback is important and how important criticism is, so here are a few things that I do want to improve moving forward in this channel. First of all, my audio production. I don't think it's any surprise here. I've had lots of comments from lots of different videos talking about my shoddy audio production, and I'm still battling through it. I don't know what it is, everybody. It's almost like audio production is a professional job or something, because yeah, it just doesn't seem to be whatever I try and do, it doesn't seem to do amazingly well. But I feel as though in general, it has gotten better. I'm currently trialing using a DJI mic, which hopefully will improve some things. So yeah, and I'm also working with a couple of much smarter friends who are also helping me out. So hopefully we're going to see some improvements there in videos going forward. Production quality. In general, I want to up the ante with my videos just a little bit. Maybe adding some more interesting effects, transitions, that kind of thing. I don't want to do too much though, for reasons that I'll get to in a question that I'll be answering later, but I definitely want some improvement at least. And lastly, backlog improvements on other videos. I really want to go back and improve my earlier thumbnails. I used to do all of the thumbnails and kind of graphic design myself, but now I have a special somebody who helps me do that, and they do a way better job than I do. So I'm going to be working with them to address some of the shoddy thumbnails from the past, and yeah, hopefully leveraging them as well to do some more work within the videos as well. So you can look forward to that. But overall, I really like my channel. Although it's a bit of a labor of love and I don't get videos out nearly as much as I wish I could, I'm proud of what we've done here. And I'm really proud that even after 3 years, I still have the drive, motivation, all of that good stuff to do it. Probably because I don't have this as a job, right? Last thing before the Q&A, I just want to quickly go through what exactly this channel is and what this channel isn't. I know some people have subscribed for some reasons and people have subscribed for other reasons, but I always like to have a nice niche target audience, so here you go. Another reason why I made this channel was honestly because I was so sick of watching shitty video essays that weren't actual essays, but more edutainment content designed to get clicks. I personally am not a big fan of what YouTube and social media in general has become. Call me an old guy yelling at clouds. And what annoys me is that so many video essays very rarely actually present a cohesive argument. I thus try to mostly make content that are actual essays. You'll notice that nearly all of my videos present a central question or central debate, and then I structure the video to clearly make arguments around that question. I really try my best not to ramble or deviate from that specific question, and I'm writing in order to persuade you, dear viewer, to come around to my point of view, or at least think about it, because that is what an essay should be. That is also why I make very strong arguments and present my videos in a very kind of almost scientific way. When I make an argument about why a piece of media is bad, for example, I will give examples to illustrate my point, and often present something else as a more positive alternative. I don't get it right every time, but know that the effort is at least being made. I try to avoid saying things then like, oh, it's just my opinion, and oh, if that's what you think, then that's cool too, because no, I'm presenting an argument. Writing is a craft, and while there is subjectivity involved in it, there are also equal amounts of objective work that goes into it. See this video for a complete exploration of this philosophy. But again, this ties into why I keep the production quality relatively low. I want people to focus on the arguments that I'm making rather than any theatricality that I'm doing, and I want to deliver my videos in kind of a dry manner out of a sense of clarity. I do not want to confuse people by using big, posh, stupid words. I just want to make things as clear as possible. What I don't want this channel to ever become is a soulless algorithm chasing business where people just watch my videos out of a sense of duty or because of my charisma, and they don't actually want to learn something or they don't want to actually engage in an argument. So therefore, you are never going to catch me being like a lot of content creators, you know, what's up guys, it's your boy John from the Author's Anvil, here to tell you all about the latest Marvel sludge, or here's why this show is bad, you know. I make videos about things that I want to talk about, and I couldn't care less about what the latest trends are or what the algorithm wants. If I release a video about a niche K-drama and it gets 10 views, then cool. If I release a video about the latest Superman film and it gets 10,000 views, then that's also cool. I'm not here to make money, presently. I am here to express myself. I am here to hopefully entertain some people and also encourage people to think more critically about storytelling. So yeah, just don't expect anything on this channel like costumes, theatricality, or comedic bits. We're not here to have fun, guys, we're here to learn. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the channel. Let's move on to the actual Q&A. Where did you get your name from? So my wife actually came up with the Author's Anvil name and logo. She's also the one who does the amazing thumbnails that we now see. I wanted something that spoke to my posh British roots, while also showing what the channel is about. And since this is sort of an education channel, I also wanted to kind of speak to the idea of helping people to create something. Hence, hopefully this channel will help create authors, maybe. We'll see. Favorite video you've ever made? I think the video I like the most, or that I'm most proud of, would either be my What Superheroes Can Learn from Slice of Life, or Stop Assassinating Characters. I like that former one because I felt as though I was presenting a really unique argument. I don't think there's another video out there that uses Korean slice of life dramas to demonstrate what modern trashy superhero movies are doing wrong, so it was super fun to illustrate those connections in that video. If I was to choose though the other one, that one I like just for its spiciness. You know, it was something that was quite cathartic, something that I wanted to get off my chest. And although people like Luke Skywalker and Daenerys Targaryen aren't exactly hot takes about their characters being assassinated, Zuko from Atla absolutely is, and the dislike ratio on that video speaks to that. And yeah, to be honest, I stand by everything I said. Nobody presented me with any arguments that really changed my mind on that. And if anything, it kind of encouraged me to go into a deeper video about that. So maybe you'll see that in the future. But anyway, I enjoyed that one just because of the spiciness of that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Ooh, I feel like I'm being interviewed this question. I wasn't sure whether you meant here on YouTube or in real life. So hey, I'll answer both. How about that? When it comes to YouTube, I honestly would love to be at 10,000 subscribers. I know maybe that's a bit of a lofty goal. It took 3 years to get to 3,000. So that's going to mean that we've got another 7 years maybe if I'm averaging 1,000 subscribers a year. And yeah, I'd like to have that high production value that I was talking about earlier. And I would one day love to release my own sort of big epic breakdown or mini documentary. But I think for that to happen, I really will have to be hiring an editor to help me out there, because editing is not my strong suit. And that is a lot of work. As I said, I'm currently a one-man band doing a real job, so I do not have time probably to make a big documentary. In terms of real life though, I do have several goals that I'm hoping to achieve within the next 5 years. I won't bore you with details, so I'm just going to bullet point them here. How about that? I want to publish a novel, record an amateur album, go up a couple of steps on the corporate career ladder, and then finally, I just want to generally visit more cool places in the world. Obviously, I'd love to visit South Korea, but my wife and I would also love to go to South America to see the Amazon jungle. We want to go on an African safari, all of that good stuff. What do you do for work? I'm going to keep this pretty vague because I don't want you cheeky blighters knowing everything about me quite yet, but for now, I can tell you that I'm a product marketing manager for a tech company in Canada. It pays pretty well, it's given me a lot of really cool opportunities, and I really enjoy it, so I guess I'm one of the few lucky ones? Sir, are you aware that this is a Wendy's? Shit, really? What is your favourite part of the video making process? This should come as no surprise to anyone, but hey, it's writing the scripts. As I said earlier, a lot of this work that I do is very cathartic, and I love the process of creating a compelling argument. Then of course, the actual moment you click the publish button is when you get that final release of having expressed yourself, so that would be the second best part, definitely. As a follow-up to creating the perfect Lex Luthor video, what other fictional characters, including and especially villains, do you think need to be given the perfect characterization treatment? Ooh, this is a really cool question, and I'm super glad to hear that you enjoyed that video. That was, again, probably one of my more favorite videos, so thanks. But geez, there are so many that I could choose from. To help me out here, I'm just gonna stick to graphic novels and superhero media, and I'll try and pick one hero and one villain. How about that? So for a hero, I think I'd really like to give Bruce Banner some good tender love and care. He had a very good depiction in the first Avengers film back in 2012, but since then I feel as though he really dropped off as a character in the MCU, and now he is absolutely assassinated. So yeah, I think he'd be a really interesting character to kind of create a more perfect depiction of and see how he would fit in a modern climate that we're in. But I, to be honest, really need to brush up on my Incredible Hulk lore before I do so. There's still a lot of reading that I probably have to do before I can really dig into that character, so yeah, we'll see. As for a villain, I do want to do something around Kraven the Hunter. However, honestly, his depiction in Kraven's Last Hunt is so freaking good that I don't really know how I could top that. So again, if I came up with sort of a unique take on the character, maybe I would do that. But otherwise, I think Poison Ivy would be a really cool one. I really like how she was portrayed in the Batman Arkham games, but I think there is more that can be done with the character. So yeah, that one is probably more likely, and I would love to examine her and see how she would fit into a modern superhero story in today's climate. That would be super cool. What's your favourite music to listen to while you work? In general, I have quite an eclectic music taste. After storytelling, music is my biggest passion, both playing, listening, studying it, all of that stuff. So I try to give myself quite a varied diet, because that is one of the most important things to do when studying any creative art. I could make an entire extra YouTube channel around music, so I will try my best not to bore you. I will just say for the moment that right now I am super into K&D, haha, no surprise, and jazz. What has been the hardest video that you've had to make? Definitely Can Fictional Stories Meaningfully Depict Bravery video. That one required a lot of qualitative research, and writing it was tough because it was a much more abstract, philosophical concept than I usually do, and so I had to make sure even more that the script was as clear and digestible as possible to someone maybe who is not into abstract media. That, and it was my first face reveal video, and so I clumsily went through all of the motions of being a beginner shooter. In my professional career, I'm usually much more in a production or directing role, where I tell other people to shoot things and to film things in a certain way, and I'm not usually the one to do it. So this has been a huge challenge for me, honestly. I've had to learn all of the lighting, I've had to learn camera work, I've had to learn how to set up a scene and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's been really challenging. I am getting better with every single video. It is getting much easier, but my goodness, that first shoot, absolute disaster. What's a TV show that you wish more people talked about? So all of the ones that I recommend currently would be in my K-drama survival guide, but in order to save you from my Korean obsession, I'll pick a Western media piece. So honestly, a couple of years ago, I watched The Expanse and really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it has probably the most realistic depiction of science fiction and the near future of humanity that I've ever seen. It's not kind of a doom and gloom dystopia, but it's neither a naive, silly utopia. It's just kind of depicting what life is likely to be like in the next 100 years. It just feels like a natural progression of what's going to happen when we do eventually leave Earth. And a lot of the science and space stuff that we see is really realistic as well. I also absolutely love the setting of kind of a Cold War in space between planets. You have two factions, Earth versus Mars. That is an allegory for the USSR and USA during the Cold War, and it's just so interesting. You've got so much political stuff, you've got so much cloak and dagger stuff, you've got battles, it's got everything, honestly, and it's just a fascinating, enjoyable ride. And also, Amos is my boy. I'm definitely going to do a character study on him in the future. He is awesome. What are your next videos going to be? As I've alluded to, I have quite a lot of ideas, but right now I'm juggling between 3. Perhaps in the comments below you can request that I do one over the other. I haven't got the exact titles of these ideas, but here are the working concepts. 1. How to write comedic characters instead of just comic relief garbage. The second one is how to properly explore a theme, or what writing a theme and exploring a theme actually means. And then lastly, why writing comes before anything in film. Hopefully that sparks some of your interest. If you're writing about a topic that you don't know much about, is it better to develop confidence as you go, or is it better to blah all over the page and meticulously edit afterwards? I hope that I've interpreted this question correctly, but I think what you're asking is whether it's better to go slow and do research while you write, or whether it's better to just word vomit on the page and then go back and do research afterwards. This honestly depends on the kind of writer you are and depends on how you like to do things. I personally like to vomit all over the page and then edit afterwards, because for me, I enjoy the editing process much more than the first drafting process, and I'm very happy to put in that work afterwards, whereas other people probably prefer to do a more refined first draft so that there's less editing afterwards. So I suppose my piece of advice here is really think about what you enjoy doing more. Do you enjoy editing what is already there, or do you enjoy the actual writing process? Of course, either approach, you want to do your research as much as you can and make sure you know your stuff, but yeah, decide between one of those two things would be my advice. Obviously, you should be trying to do a decent amount of research before even picking up your proverbial pen, but both approaches work. You just need to find out first, do I like writing more or do I like editing more? Both should result in a well-structured and well-researched piece of writing, but the process can be different. And now, lastly, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be a writer? What a lovely question to end on. So, classic cliche, but ever since I was a little kid, I wrote stories. A lot of other kids would naughtily stay up late when their parents sent them home to bed. They would sneak cookies from the fridge, or they would play video games. But this guy, because I was a super cool kid, I would stay up and I would write stories and handwrite them, because back when I was a kid, we didn't have kind of laptops and stuff yet. So that was how I was a super cool kid, is I would be rebellious by staying up and writing stories, or reading as well. I used to do the whole thing where reading under the covers with my torch, all of that stuff. The moment, however, when I knew I was really serious about writing was probably in my early 20s, when I was about 50,000 words into the first draft of a book I was writing. I'd never written that much before, and most importantly, I'd never written that much before that I actually liked. I was writing and I was liking what I was writing. It wasn't good, but I was enjoying it, and I was like, hey, this actually could be good. And it was that moment where I was a decent way through that draft that I really found that, yeah, I love doing this. I have so many stories to tell. I want to get better at this. And now, ever since that day, I have written for at least an hour or two every day, and I have never looked back. And that's it. Maybe I'll do another one of these videos if and when we hit that milestone of 10,000 subscribers that I was talking about. But until then, you can expect regular-ish content in the coming months. And if you can't wait that long, then go and check out the rest of my catalogue. Hopefully there is something in there for everybody. A little bit of superhero stuff, a little bit of TV and film, a little bit of philosophy. yeah, just whatever takes your fancy, hopefully. Thank you so much, Curious Souls, for your ongoing support, positive vibes, all of that good stuff. Hopefully you're going to enjoy what's coming, so I shall see you in the next video.